Hi, this is Dark Shades and this is the final video, and I'm going to incorporate planning, practice and punctuality. The P's that are required to get you a job. Now the first one is planning. Plan your journey once you've been shortlisted, regardless of how far away it is, whether it's 5 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour or 3 hours. Don't take anything for granted. There could be traffic, there could be accidents, there could be diversions. Men have a habit of just allowing just enough time to get where they want to get. And then they get, when they ride for late, they'll tell their employer, oh, sorry, mate. Oh, I'm really sorry, but there was traffic on the road. A potential employer doesn't want to know that. Then a potential employer is thinking in her head or his head that if you'd planned your journey properly, you would be here on time. Punctuality and planning go hand in hand because you need to be punctual. You need to get to your interview at least 15-20 minutes ahead of time, so you have time to unwind, you have time to revisit what you're going to say, and you have time for mindfulness and meditation to calm yourself down if you're flustered. Most people, when you're going for a job, it is a bit nerve-wracking, especially if you haven't been for an interview for a long time and getting a job is important to you. Don't let those nerves show. Don't let those insecurities show. Don't let any part of anything that's negative show throughout your interview, regardless of how you're feeling, regardless of if you had a argument with your spouse, regardless of whether there was traffic on the road and somebody cut into you. Don't bring that into the interviewing process. They don't want to know that. If you bring it into the process and you're going to tell them how you dealt with it, that is different. Like they would say, for example, a lot of times one of the questions are, how do you deal with conflict, or how do you deal with a difficult situation? And even driving to work, if that affects you really badly, that could be a good answer. You can say, well, I was trying to get here on time and this idiot cut in front of me and I nearly crashed in front of him. I was so nervous. I wasn't sure whether it'd do damage to my car, but I managed to maintain my cool. I got out of my car. I checked that everything was okay. I got back in my car. I calmed myself down and I proceeded on my way. So that's going to tell them how you dealt with that difficult situation. Somebody else might go in there and say, oh, this idiot, he drove in front of me. I got out and I gave him a mouthful. And I'm so irritated and I'm angry. And they don't want to hear that, because that means you don't know how to deal with certain situations and you have no emotional intelligence. You haven't got a clue how to contain your emotions. So little situations like that, don't let them impact you as a part of your interviewing skills. They might say, how was your journey in? And like I said, you can relay it in a positive way of how you dealt with that if there were some obstructions. So planning your journey, planning your journey, make sure that you've allowed yourself enough time. You've planned you've got your CV in front of you. You've planned what you're going to say and how you're going to say it. Like I said in video 1, it's really important to know what you're going to say, because sometimes these interviewers, they catch you off guard. They ask you the most benign questions and you're thinking to yourself, oh my God, I never expected that. So you need to know yourself. That's the key. When you're going into an interview, you need to know yourself. You need to know how you deal with situations. You need to know how you do your work. You need to know what skills you pull in to do your work. And you need to practice how to articulate that. It's very It's almost like a test. Well, it is a test. I think interviewing is a test. You know, you go in there, you do your test and you get your results. Either you get the job or you don't get the job. So that is key with planning. And I think once you know what you're going to say, which is key, and you know how you're going to say it, which is key, that is the most important thing. And why I said you need to know yourself, because sometimes they'll throw in something like, how do you get on with a team? And for them, it's important that you get on with, you know how to get on with a lot of different people. Now, if you're a mechanic, for example, you're probably used to working alone. If you're self-employed and you're going into an office or you're going into a place where you're required to work with other people, they're going to need to know how you get on with working with other people. If you're thinking about taking on a totally different role, you're going to need to know how that impacts you as an individual. When I left my job as a legal secretary, I couldn't get a job. I couldn't get a job anywhere, regardless of what accolades I had. And, you know, how great I felt I was. I just couldn't get a job because I didn't know how to articulate what I had done. I can't stress the importance of that. So I ended up looking after disabled children. It's the only job I could get. But I tell you something, it was the most rewarding job I had. These children were autistic, they were on the disabled learning spectrum, and I enjoyed myself so much in that job. The only thing, it was a bit labour intensive. And I didn't want to do my backing. You know, you have to pick up the wheelchairs and you have to lift them up and put them in hoists and, you know, stuff like that. That kind of thing wasn't really good for my health or good for my body. So, and also it was a part-time position and I really wanted a full-time position, but it did give me a gateway. It did give me a leg up into a different job. So be prepared, like I said. The 4 P's, be prepared. Be prepared if you can't get the job that you want. Be prepared to take something else. Plan. Can't emphasize the planning. As I can't even emphasize it enough. So plan a lot. How you're going to get there, what you're going to do, what you're going to say. Practice. Practice. Look in the mirror. Look at your face. Sometimes, you know, you can look at your face in the mirror and you can think, oh, I don't like that. I don't like that. You notice your wrinkles. You notice the spots. You notice your facial expressions and you start being self-critical. Get beyond that. So keep practicing until you like what you see. And practice what you've done. Revisit it. Write down what you did to get from A to B. You'll be surprised at what skills, and it's quite good for confidence. You know, once you know what you're capable of doing, it builds your confidence no end. So practice, practice, practice. And of course, be punctual. Nobody wants to see anybody late on an interview, regardless of what excuse there is, regardless of whether there was a murder outside your house and it's all cordoned off and there was these diversion. Nobody wants to know. They're not interested. All they're interested in is that you've shown up. You've shown up early. You're prepared. You've practiced what you're going to say and you feel confident that you can get the job. Well, I wish you luck. This video went on a bit long, but I wish you luck and take care. This is Dark Shades. This is the video about life skills and getting a job. Wish you luck. Congratulations for getting it and be positive. That's another P. I think that'll be in my next video.